Hi everybody, welcome back. Hope you are well. Now, when I film these videos, sometimes it doesn't go right, and a lot of the times when it doesn't go right, it's not a problem. I can reshoot a lot of it. You know, I can do it again. Maybe it's because I haven't explained something well enough. Maybe the camera angle that I was using wasn't good enough, or, you know, maybe I made a genuine mistake. It's happened a few times. I've had to reshoot some videos. The problem when doing a task on a caravan, let's say for example you're doing something that you can only do once and you've realised you've made a complete hash of the job, you can't really go back and do it all again because you've already done it. And that's today's video. Last week I filmed an installation here in the caravan of the external TV point here in the caravan. I spent a long time doing it. I spent all day doing it, in fact. I went through 3 batteries on this camera. I did it all and I filled up my SD card full of footage, lots of angles, lots of this, that and the other, only to find that a lot of the footage which I had was completely useless. I'm not really sure if this video is ever going to see the light of day, to be honest with you, because I'm not sure how I can turn this one around. Because I'm certainly not going to undo everything that I've just done to do it all again. Oh my god! How am I going to get out of this one? I have rescued some bits and I filled it in with some other stock imagery which I had as well. So I'm hoping that today's video makes sense. So without further ado, let's crack on into installing an external TV antenna point. Now, if you haven't got external aerial access point on your caravan, you can use it for a number of things. First of all, you can use it to access the TV hookup point on electric posts in campsites. And the other thing as well is if you are so inclined, you can use that access point to connect a satellite dish. I'm not going to use a satellite dish, but there will be a video on how to do that later on. The reason why we're adding it on our caravan is to access the TV signal from the electric hookup posts at the campsites. Let's show you the outside plate of this caravan and then show you the inside TV points as well. So this is the external hookup point that I'll be using. As you can see, we can add in a TV point, a 12-volt outlet and a satellite point. These are all blanked off at present and I'll be adding a connection to the satellite TV area simply because ease of use. To make the connection, I need to drill this plastic plate out and I'm using a 10mm drill, and then I'll be adding an F-type coupler as you can see here. Now the coupler screws into the plate and allows me to connect a cable to the other side. I'll discuss connectors later on. The TV outlets in the caravan will need to be swapped, and these are really easy to swap over once the cable has been installed. Here's the replacement, and as you can see it still has the TV outlet but now also has a Sat TV point too. Right, so that's both ends of the story. What do we do now in terms of connecting them together? Well, this is the complicated bit. This is the part now that scares a lot of people, and that is putting the cable through the caravan from one end to the other. So anyway, I did film on the day the routes that I took with the coax, so let's have a look at those right now. That panel there, behind this solar controller, I hope you can see that, this panel here comes out. There is screws up in the top corners and the whole panel comes out. Now, the first cable I routed through was the bedroom, and what I did was, let me just get a piece of coax. What I did was I pushed this piece of coax here into the cavity at the back. There's a cavity at the back and it goes right along the way. Let me just go in this way, step over some of the bags, and it goes behind the shower, past this door, and down that corner there, down here. And then I was able to pull the coax, because it naturally bent round there, it then came down and I was able to pull the coax there. It took some going and it took some fiddling, and it would have been easier if I had a second person, I won't lie. But I was able to pull the coax out of here, and then that was the first half of the rear coax. With that panel pulled out and you can get access to a lot of the cabling, I was then able to get behind that cable, behind that cupboard there, and push down here past the microwave and down past this plug here where all these connections are, and you can just about see the coax there in the background there, and I was able to push that one down all the way down and also join this second coax here as well, the one for the living room. That one follows the same route going down, and they go all the way down to the bottom corner there, behind the fridge. So once we're down that bottom corner there, we need to get it from there across there, and this is where the tricky bit really comes in. The first thing I needed to do was take the fly screen off. There's a screw, I hope, come on, focus, there's a screw there, and there's a screw up in the top corner here as well. Take those grey lumps out there, that one there, that one there. Lift the fly screen out, and then this piece of conduit here can then be lifted up, and then I can get the cable from inside there, pull it across and across there. Now you notice that in our caravan we've got 2 TV points. You may have 3. We've got one in the bedroom and one here at the front of the caravan. So what sort of kit do we need in order to split the coax into 2 signals? Well, let me show you exactly the kit that we're going to need in order to make this job work properly. Okay, first up is the splitter. When buying a splitter, we need to look for the phrase DC Power Pass. This will allow this setup to connect to a satellite dish and receiver if we wanted to. Next is the F-type connectors, and I used 6 in this installation, 1 for each end of the coax. And whilst talking about coax, we also need some good quality satellite coax to connect all of it together. We're looking for a good quality coax which has got a solid centre core and is double screened. Make sure it is good quality. Now, as I've already mentioned, to make the connections in the caravan, I'm using these CBE TV outlets, and they also have the SAT TV point as well. Now finally, to the outside plate. If you don't have an external point like mine, don't worry, you can still fit a connector in a wet locker or inside the battery box. In fact, our Lunar caravan had a TV connector in the battery box just underneath the electric hookup inlet. So there's no reason why you cannot do the same or put a connector inside a wet locker like this one. As for tools, I'm using nothing special except for a sharp knife, a screwdriver to remove panels, a set of car panel trim tools, an 11mm spanner to tighten the F-type plugs, and some heat shrink on the plugs. Oh, and I'm also using a swear jar. All these tools are available in our Amazon storefront, so go and have a look at the link in the description below. So up to this point, I've routed the cable through the caravan. Let's have a look at the installation so far. On the outside of the caravan, I've drilled a hole and fitted the F-type coupler, and I've tightened it up with a small spanner and connected a short section of coax. Let's pop inside and I'll show you what I've done. Right, I've just been fighting with a bit of conduit, and as you can see, I've put that in place down there now as well. That's got the TV coax, both coaxes in there, which you can see pop out there. And I've just refitted the back of the external mains hookup point there as well, so you can see that that's got the coax coming out of it and also the mains socket as well. So I've just refitted that and put the cushions back in place because I'm done at that end now. So now what we need to do now, with all the coaxes out there, what we need to do now is start fitting some of these F connectors, and that's what I'm going to show you right now. To make an F-type connection, it's very simple, but easy to make some common mistakes. So to help you along, I'm marking this coax where I'll make 2 cuts. I don't usually mark it, but it's handy for you to see what's happening. Using a sharp knife, and please be careful, make a cut into the coax all the way down to the central conductor. Create a clean cut all the way around the perimeter of the cable, and once cut, remove the end section to reveal the inner core. Then make a second cut about 5mm down and cut only through the outer insulation. Be careful here, we don't want to cut or remove any of the screening below. Your cable end should look like this, so now gently pull the outer screen over the cable until it looks like this. The plug is now ready to fit on, but I add a small section of heat shrink to the plug, and this is entirely optional. It helps to secure the plug and also reduce exposed metalwork. Simply screw the F-type plug onto the cable until the inner dielectric, that's the white core, is flush with the inside of the plug. If you've installed some heat shrink, heat this now, and that's it. It's one successful connection. So the cable is in, the ends are terminated. It's now time to swap over the TV points in the bedroom and the living room, and this is really straightforward. Nothing special here at all. Let me show you how I did it. So this is the old one there, and as you can see, it's only got one outlet there, and we're going to replace it with this one here. So there's a couple of things we need to swap over. First of all, we need to swap over the cables for the power outlet. Now these need to go the right way around. So what we've got is the white for negative and the yellow for positive. So let's do that right now. And then obviously we need to do is take our existing coax off here for the aerial in the caravan. What we're going to do is just unscrew that like so, and then put that in the correct one, which is the bottom one. I hope you can see that. So it goes in the bottom one there, like so. Looking good. And then finally, our own bit of coax goes on the top there as well. Just a bit of tightening up here. Right, before we put it all away, we're going to test this. So before we connect the splitter, we need to perform some tests. And what we're going to do is we're going to connect the external plate to one of the TV points here in the caravan, and we're going to do a very simple set of tests. We're going to do an open circuit and a short circuit test. Right, well the first test is we're just going to test continuity. So I'm just using the terminals here, the multimeter, and what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that we don't have any shorts. Now we're only really interested in the one that we've just fitted in, and what I'm going to use is a piece of the you can't see it on the film, but what I'm going to use there is a piece of the inner core with the coax that we've cut. And I'm just going to wedge that into the socket here at the front, like so. Put one terminal on the outer sheath and one on the inner, and we shouldn't hear a beep, and we don't. And that's really good news. To prove that the continuity is working, that's the outer core from the back of the socket to the front. So that's good. Improve that one. We'll do the same in the bedroom, and then we'll go on to the short circuit test. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to deliberately short the circuit. So on the access points outside, we're going to put a small piece of cable that I've deliberately shorted the ends to create a circuit. Then at the TV point, we're going to do a simple continuity test again, and we're going to prove that we've got a short circuit. Of course, testing them in isolation like this as well proves which cable is which, so I can label it up accordingly. And there we go, we've got ourselves a short on that cable there. And just to prove it, I'm going to go and unplug that little shorting cable that I've got there. Right, there we go, just taking it out. And let's just prove that now. Brilliant. Ruddy brilliant. Now you may be asking yourself, why didn't I do the test with the splitter in circuit? And that's really, really straightforward. The splitter doesn't just split the signal, it doesn't just, splice it into two areas. It actually splits the signal via a circuit. So that circuit is not electrically connected between the output and the input. So by me doing a continuity test would prove absolutely nothing, because I wouldn't be able to prove continuity between the inside and the outside. Now obviously I haven't got an external TV aerial here today, otherwise I could put that in, plug the TV in there and prove that it all works. I'll need to do that when I'm on site. However, I am going to be plugging a satellite dish into it for a future video, and that will prove to me that everything is okay. Be under no illusion, this is not a task to be taken lightly. If you're thinking of doing this yourself, make sure you're happy to do it yourself, and you're happy to take things apart and put things back together again. And like I said, it was 3 hours of swearing and general violence trying to get things through. However, everything went back in the end. Nothing looks broken, nothing fell off and nothing snapped. So it's a success in that respect. I bought the extra conduit from B&Q. I got the curved one, which seems to fit in quite nicely. It means that when you look through from the external locker, it all looks really nice and neat and tidy, and you haven't got bare cables lying around as well. Now I've put a link to everything in our Amazon storefront. I've put that down below, and I've put it as a list. So all the upgrade materials which I've used here, including the splitter, the F-type plugs, the plate, everything that I've put together, I've put it in one list in our Amazon storefront. So head on down and have a look at that. So that's it from me today. It was a horrendous job to do, and I'll be honest with you, you might be better off asking a mobile engineer or a dealership to do this job for you. If you're buying a caravan new and you want this, you can ask for it to be done for you. The guys at the dealerships will be happy to oblige, I'm sure. So that's it for me today, guys. Thanks for watching. Any comments or questions or queries, put them down below. And until next time, I'll see you again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye.